The Golden Age of Exploration. The Golden Age of Exploration was a time when many explorers went to explore other land and find spices and other useful things. Some of the main explorers were Christopher Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, Ferdinand Magellan. Columbus was the one who figured out the Earth was round and not instead of flat. This map shows Columbus's journeys and other minor journeys for spices and precious metals. Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy. His first voyage nearly cost him his life because of privateers. His ship was burned, and Columbus had to swim to the Portuguese shore and make his way to Lisbon, Portugal. He got to the shore of Portugal and ended up liking the country he had settled in. He later found a wife and had a son named Diego. His wife died soon after, and Columbus moved to Spain. He had a second son named Fernando in 1488 with a woman who he wasn't married to. He had many other expeditions, some of which gained knowledge on how the Atlantic currents flowed. Since the Muslims dominated the trade route throughout the Middle East, that it made it hard to travel to China or India. He believed in a route sailing west across the Atlantic would be safer and quicker. So he made up a plan to sail west to reach the east. To fund his trip to the New World, he went to the Portuguese king but was rejected. Then he took his plan to Genoa and Venice, but he was rejected there at both of those places too. Then he went to the Spanish monarchy of Isabel and Castile and Fernanda of Aragon. Originally he was rejected, but after the war they had been fighting for a while. They came around and funded his trip to the New World. Christopher Columbus died on this day, May 20th, in 1506. Amerigo Vespucci was born in 1451 in Florence, Italy. Before he embarked on his first journey, he had a lot of other jobs. When Vespucci was 24 years old, his father urged him to go into business. Vespucci agreed. At first he undertook a variety of business endeavors in Florence. Later he moved on to a banking business in Seville, Spain, where he formed a partnership with another man from Florence named Gianetto Berardi. According to some accounts, from 1483 to 1492, Vespucci worked for the Medici family. During that time, he is said to have learned that explorers were looking for a northwest passage through the Indies. He worked with merchants who supplied Christopher Columbus on his later voyages. In 1496, after Columbus returned from his voyage to America, Vespucci had the opportunity to meet him in Seville. He embarked on his first journey from Cadiz into the mainland of Central America, in which he made it within 5 weeks. He and his fleet of Spanish ships made it back to Cadiz in October. He later died of malaria in 1512. He would have been 58 years old. You may be wondering who named America after Amerigo Vespucci. Well, that person named America after a German journalist, named Martin van Zwellinger. He was in 1507 working on the St. Denis voyages in Lorraine. He produced a world globe and large world map that has first use of the name America. There is apparently a letter written by Amerigo Vespucci, although some historians consider it to have been a forgery written by its supposed recipient in Italy. This book describes why the name America was used, from Amerigo the Discoverer, as if it were the land of Americas, thus America. In 1513, Waldemar appears to have second thoughts about the name. In his reworking of the atlas, written with Ringman, the continent is labeled simply Terra Incognita. However, 1,000 copies of the world map had been distributed and the original suggestion took hold. While North America was still called the Indies in documents for some time, it was eventually called America as well. The map was lost for a long time, but a copy was found in the castle at Wolfegg in southern Germany by Joseph Fisher in 1901. It's still the only copy known in existence and was purchased by the Library of Congress in 2001. 2 copies of the globe survived that are printed maps that were intended to be cut out and pasted onto a ball. Ferdinand Magellan was born in 1480. He joined a Portuguese fleet that was sailing to East Africa. He was in the Battle of Deu. In 1517, Magellan moved to Seville, Spain, to offer his skills to the Spanish court. In the 3 years following his departure from Portugal, he had religiously studied all of most recent navigation charts. He had also benefited from the mistakes and discoveries of several other explorers. Christopher Columbus' discovery of North America and Vasco Nunez Balboa's march to the Pacific Ocean were just 2 of the many events that inspired Magellan's bold quest for an all-water passage through farther-flung, spice-rich lands. He died on April 27, 1521. Where did Christopher Columbus grow up? He grew up in Genoa, Italy, a wealthy city as of today. This is the basic design of ships that were used during this time period. Here's a little Spanish lesson. Christopher Columbus' name in Spanish is Cristobal Colon. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Reminder: Christopher Columbus did not discover the Americas. He may have went to explore them, but did not discover them. Now it's time for the question of the day. When was Christopher Columbus born? Christopher Columbus was born on October 31st, 1451.